Morning, everyone. For those of you who are listening, I'm afraid you can't see the fabulous pair of skimpy knickers that Nadia's currently wearing.
Shut up.
You're going to be intrigued now. Babe, don't fire them across the kitchen.
Stop
like
it.
that.
Stop it.
Doesn't she look lovely? Doesn't she scrub up? Well, she walked down and she said I looked like I was going to be sick. I wasn't even thinking about what I was looking at.
This is me. So I come downstairs all wafting.
Wafting?
Taking ages to
And I'm
get
like
ready. Because I'm going out to see for my friend's birthday.
And I'm like that.
And he literally went like this, right? I'm not exaggerating. He went... and then he turned back to the computer and looked like he was going to be sick. I was like, oh my God, I've literally never had that response from anyone.
What do you mean?
Having just got dressed up.
I'm so sorry. I did apologise and then immediately said, you look fantastic. You look gorgeous.
But what was going through
I was thinking about one of the stories we're going to talk about.
Oh, so I was just invisible.
Utterly.
Wow. That's marriage.
What do you mean? I'm invisible to you all the time. You don't comment on anything.
Oh, God, pick me boy.
It's not pick me girl.
Right.
Hang on.
Excuse
pick me girl.
me.
Hang on. Is a woman wanting to be commented on, not a pick me girl.
Excuse me. Can you all, who know us very well, just remind Mark how often I tell him how amazing he's looking?
Oh, my God, I don't want you to. Don't say that now.
Oh, God, I'm going to actually leave now because it's going to get embarrassing. Oh, my God.
I was having to explain to my therapist the other day what a pick me boy was. It was so funny.
Jesus
Her
Christ,
face.
should have just said, put it yourself. They don't know what that means. Oh, people don't know. Well, you explain like
But hang on, also, there's this idea that women aren't pick me.
I'm not pick me, Mark. I never asked you. I wasn't it was, I didn't mind you not commenting. It was the fact that you looked like you were going to throw up.
I was thinking about something else.
You were thinking about Donald Trump.
No, I was thinking about Donald Trump and I was thinking about penis size, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's one of the stories I want to briefly talk about.
All right.
Morning, everyone. Morning. Welcome to
Thank
Coffee
you, Rosemary
Moaning.
Mojito girl. Thanks. She says I look good.
She looks stunning, doesn't she? I mean, the amount of times I tell you, you look beautiful. You look absolutely. You look summery. You look floaty. You look.
Do you know what I think
You look flowery.
happens?
You look white. It was once.
Do you know what I think happens? I think when you've been married for a long time, he probably thought it, but thought he'd said it.
No, this is something, right? This is something, again, go and check out How to Stay Married that I want to talk to a couples counsellor about. We're
on a waiting list.
You take one thing and you say this sentence, this is what you do. This is what it's become. No, it hasn't. At that point, that happened. It's not simple. You broaden everything out into a thing, and it's not. I just, at that moment, was thinking about Donald Trump and a penis. Brain was somewhere else.
Wow. So I come down after an hour getting ready, and he's thinking about Donald Trump's penis.
And I've talked about nothing other than your knickers since.
Could
and now
I
you're telling me to
not?
shut up.
Could I not have distracted you from Donald Trump's
You did.
penis?
You did. I came out of my
Stop
reverie.
talking over me.
Are
keep
you
screaming.
pot, kettle,
Oh my God.
black?
Right, just get on with it, Mark, because you're reminding me of Richard Madeley now.
You're reminding me of Judy Finnegan. So be careful. Hi, Margaret O'Brien. Everyone listening, someone said the other day...
People are still asking, what does a pick-me boy mean?
Pick-me boy is someone who... well, actually, in the telling of it, I realised the girls then corrected me the other day. It's someone who kind of wants people... By making people feel sorry for them, they want attention.
Centre of attention.
Yeah, they want to be centre of attention, but they don't mind it being because they just want people to feel sorry for them.
My daughter just made me laugh so much the other day. She, like the rest of us in this family, she hates maths, and she said, oh, maths is the most pick-me-boy subject, because when it could say numbers, when it could just say numbers, it says factors. When it could say this, it just... She goes, also that you're constantly giving it attention and trying to work it out. So even a subject can be a pick-me
Well,
subject.
she's got science today, and Mimosa doesn't feel that about science. Someone said you've lost an earring.
Oh! No. Thank you, darling.
That's kind of what distracted me earlier. Thank you. Also, I just want to say Ian Nye. Ian, you know me. Ian, my lovely friend and piano teacher, pointed out only Nadia and Mark could have a set of drawers that has no handles to get into.
I
He
know,
said,
it's a
how
nightmare.
do you get into that
I have
drawer?
to get a knife. Oh,
don't know why
it's
that's
so
funny, but it is.
annoying. There's so many things like that. I need one of those men that comes around and does.
Does what?
You know, those
You filthy
handymen.
cow. What
Mark.
are you talking
Right,
about?
get on with it. Get
You're
on
the
with
one
it.
who sent me the sex championships today.
Oh, which I did find very funny. We're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
Can you believe there is an official sex championship with marking and...
I thought you'd say with Mark in.
Oh, marking. I wonder if they'll do like they do on the X Factor and stuff and have like a long pause before they announce who's the best blowjobber or who's the best.
A long pause. Yeah. I mean, well, we're going to get on to what kind of events could you have. That's what I was toying with. What sort of events could you actually have? Let's have a think about them for the sex championships later. This is a thing. It happens in, not surprisingly, I think it's in Sweden, isn't it? Hey guys, so guess what? We're not even going to mention Philip Schofield. Oh shit, I did. But let's have a look at Donald Trump. Who's a Trump? Who thinks, okay, this is very much a gallows sense of humour. Obviously, we're not Donald Trump fans. But I have to say, he's got the gift of the gab when it comes to saying the most ludicrously extraordinary things. I mean, he was infinitely more entertaining, though he possibly took us to the edge of Armageddon more willingly than Biden did. But what an absolute arse.
But the problem is, part of his popularity is that so many people
Find him funny.
have to watch, feel that we now live in a world where we're having to watch every single thing we say, and there he is, he just bruises through.
Well,
because he's in my opinion,
Yeah.
a narcissistic psychopath.
Oh, for sure.
So he doesn't actually care or doesn't think about consequences or care about consequences.
And actually, going back to that
My
narcissistic...
God, he will say anything, won't
Oh, yeah,
he?
yeah. And go back to that narcissistic thing, though, that we say about, how if you do something, if a narcissist is... If you're horrible to a narcissist, it's your fault. And if a narcissist is horrible to you, it's because you made them do it. That is classic how Trump turns anything that's negative against him into something that's positive for him. So he's being...
I didn't know his platform, his social media platform is called Truth Social or something.
Yeah, something like that. I
Oh
don't know.
my God.
But so Donald
Lisa,
Trump...
can you do an impression?
Donald Trump's been... Donald Trump... Well, Donald Trump's interesting, isn't he? Each time he's about to be indicted, arraigned, arrested, frog marched, slapped around the forehead, given a touch up with his kind of permatan or whatever, he has to say it first. And it's kind of clever what he does, because then, of course, it turns him into the pick-me. He is a pick-me president. He's an absolute pick-me. I gotta build a wall. He's gonna be indicted. I took the pieces of paper. I put them in the cupboard. This is like a witch hunt.
Bigly witch hunt.
I put them by the toilet.
Bigly.
Bigly. I was just using them to wipe my butt off. I mean, he he had a load of files that he took home. They're not doing him for espionage. The vast majority of people think this isn't going to stick, but it does carry with it the potential of prison.
What I don't understand is, what about the inciting of the insurrection?
That's something else.
Why?
That's something completely
Why
different.
is that not number one? They've got him on
No,
film.
but they've got countless things. That's coming. That's going to happen in 2024. That's going to happen later. That's going to happen later next year.
Multiple politicians that
Yeah.
were there. He was refusing to call in.
I know.
But we're more concerned about the bits of paper.
Seize the capital. Seize the capital. Grab your arms. I'm your bears.
Why
better
isn't
obey your
already in
arms.
prison for that? I never know.
Well, because there's just countless different things coming at him. And unfortunately, the problem with all of these things is as they kind of are thrown at him, it makes him ever more popular. So I think the reason it hasn't been, I don't think the papers have been unsealed. It's always interesting, isn't it? They haven't unsealed the papers. So is there someone there with a kind of, Stanley knife kind of opening it up? But he's trying to get ahead of the narrative. He's trying to use it to essentially push, run to sanctimonious. I've got to get past run to sanctimonious. I mean, this is the other guy in Florida who stands the biggest chance of beating him, but he launched his presidential campaign, Rob DeSanctimonious, on Twitter, and he was a fool. He looked a fool. No one watched, no one listened. He wasn't, what did he call him? He wasn't a Twitter, he's a twatter, or something like that. Anyway, so Donald Trump indicted, he's in court, I think he's in court, he's in front of a judge next Tuesday. I think it's happening in Florida, which his team are very happy about. Apparently they were all round, he's got like a sort of task task force team around a round table. They were waiting for it to be announced. And they're like, as soon as it was announced, they start raising money to kind of bail him and all that kind of stuff.
But he straight away after his announcement, there were links and money poured in.
Money pouring in.
Absolutely pouring in. So
We could yet have the situation where the next president of the United States is in prison.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Okay.
Quite something. Anyway, that's Donald Trump. So now this story I saw earlier in the week, and I thought, what's Nad's going to make of this? This is an Irish town in which Greystone in County Wicklow. We have lots and lots of Irish followers with us here. And the parents of young children in this small coastal town have all united and have decided and have enacted the fact that their children will have no smartphones or iPads or anything like that. They'll have no access. They're not going to let them have access to smartphones, or any apps whatsoever until secondary school. Wow. Disgust. And they've all committed to this. Everyone in the town.
Well, because Maddie, our eldest, went to a local private school that was quite strict, and of course she's 20, so it was different times, wasn't it? She had no phone whatsoever. We just never thought of getting her a phone. And then when she went to secondary school, it was such a massive shock to her, wasn't it? And we saw such a massive change in her, and it was very difficult because she basically was kind of almost socially illiterate at that, if you like, for a dramatic term, in that she had no idea what everybody was doing and talking about, and apps and follows, and people were grabbing her phone to see how many follows she had, and so she was like, just rushed into this, like it was almost like they say you're opening the door to a stranger. A million doors opened all at one go, and it was very, very difficult for her. But we always said that we were grateful that she'd had that time without it, but we really hadn't realised what a shock it was going to be when she was suddenly in the phone world. But this, in a whole town where all the schools are doing it, is it made me emotional when you said it, because I thought the thought of all these parents getting together and making change.
And I think
and I suppose that a lot of these kids will then they'll move up into secondary school, and they'll get their phones at some point. Those doors are going to be open.
But I suppose maybe it's a little bit like, we always say about alcohol. It's like the longer you can get, your kids can go without getting annihilated,
every
drinking.
Month.
It all month counts. I think it means that potentially they'll have. It doesn't mean they'll not have a problem, but I mean it's got to be good, eh? It's got to be good.
Hopefully they'll build patterns of other ways to communicate and to play and sport and. All these things that we know go by the wayside, because we know they go by the wayside for us as adults. Oh, shall I read a book, or shall I go back to my incredibly fascinating phone?
Yeah, which keeps telling me the same thing.
Shall I go to the gym? Yeah, just in a minute. I'm just like scrolling for another hour on Instagram. Adults find it hard, so of course children do. And most children, I would say, have as like most adults, have an addiction.
Sarah Witherington makes a really good point, and this is something that really pisses me off. When my son started reception, his first homework was to Google something. Not just that, schools, and one of our schools too, has this system where you go into a Google Classroom. I'm quite tech kind of savvy. I can work my way around stuff. It's so fucking complicated. And then, of course, if you're encouraging kids or telling kids that they need to go to screens in order to facilitate learning or find past papers or what have you, the temptation to be distracted off into Spotify playlists and all this malarkey. But the thing that you said, which is really important, is
also,
the reason
Mark,
this will work.
That is going to be the world. It's like you will be Googling whatever job you're going to do. You're going to be Googling. Yeah. So it's the beginning of literacy. We've got to understand it's a different kind of literacy.
Yeah, but aren't we saying this is a good thing then?
Well,
or you're saying it's a good thing within reason?
Within reason, if you're coming home and you're good, presumably in this town, they'll come home and they'll.
I personally think schools shouldn't lean so heavy. I mean, I realise this is it's incumbent on the teachers and they've got less time, but I think these Google Classrooms it's like there was huge criticism in the pandemic of remote learning. And what I've noticed is that a huge majority of learning in schools today is remote through laptops still. It's weird.
But for younger children.
But for young children, the most important thing they say here, one of the parents says, nobody wants their child to be the odd one out, which is always the problem, isn't it? That's why they want the trainers, that's why they want the phones. But she says in this case, it's not the case. It's not the case.
Our
'Cause none of
girls
them
have
have got
said
one.
many times, even as teenagers, oh God, I wish sometimes I just wish none of us had a phone. And you know, there's no boredom anymore. There is no boredom. You don't have to be bored. And everything that we did
Denise.
creatively as kids came out of boredom.
Yeah.
Fuck all else to do. Let's go out.
Vicky raises a good point. I think it's a good idea, but it gives my children a social life because they can't interact with others due to having autism. And Emma Walsh also echoes that by saying, what if you have disabilities and medical problems like myself and need a phone just in case you have seizures? I think in
There would be,
such
yeah.
circumstances there would be an exception. I mean, I think this is a sort of... I like the idea of a collective approach. I like the collectivity of a town approaching this and the uniting of parents and the uniting of them all together. And only in that will none of the kids will feel that thing of FOMO because no one's got one.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you where it gets problematic though, when they've got older siblings who have.
Yeah. Very tricky.
Therein lies a problem.
But again, if you're saying none of your friends have got... if children just grow up just knowing nobody gets one until they're 12, it's easier, isn't it?
True, very true.
Because there's loads of things that your older sibling will have and do that you're not allowed to yet. So.
Absolutely, like score crack and smoke vapes.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, this shit happens, doesn't it? And, you know. We're going to talk about... don't forget, we've got the Friday quiz right at the end. And we're going to be talking about the Sex Olympics in a minute. But first, I want to talk about obesity. How obesity... This isn't particularly a news story, but I think it's an important question that we ask ourselves again. This is a piece about how obesity has evolved from what they would say a lack of willpower, or the perception that it's a lack of willpower, into a disease. And we've asked on the Coffee Moaning Instagram account whether you think it's a disease or whether it's a case of a lack of willpower, or is it, you know, a bit of both? Obviously, weight loss jabs, you were talking about them today, weren't you, are you know, becoming a tool, an NHS tool to deal with obesity. It's almost like an acquiescence that it can't be fought through education. And what this article talks about is, it's not even about education. Everyone kind of knows what they ought to be doing. But temptation with ultra-processed food, or UPFs as they call it, is so extreme. And the cost differences, I've often said this, an organic cucumber is a whole 75 pence more expensive than a non-organic one. The vast majority of people cannot afford to eat healthily.
That's not true.
Well...
No, that's because you have that's because you don't know anything about...
This piece is all about it. Yeah, no, okay.
Can be very, very, very economical.
It can be cost effective.
If you're not looking for an organic cucumber.
Okay, it might be cost effective, but it might not be time effective in terms of the amount of time required to cook it. It might not be geographically effective in terms of your local shop might be a happy shopper, or you know, your work doesn't allow you to eat at normal times. I mean, this is a piece about the fact that for a huge number of people, there are so many temptations put in your way, and there are so many aspects of modern life that make it very difficult or more difficult. I mean, you're very good about all of it. I mean, obviously, that's why I wanted to see what you thought about this, because you often say, yeah, you know, you can eat healthily, and I think you and Dina do a good job of showing how you can quite matter-of-factly eat more healthily.
I would challenge anyone that's eating an ultra-processed food diet to come in with a lesser bill than Dina does for her food each week. Processed food is very expensive because it leaves you very hungry. So you're then ordering something else or having something later on. You know, there's no... What people... You could be, you know, overweight, you could be obese, you could be morbidly obese, and you could be starving. That's what people don't understand. You could be starving for all the vitamins, minerals and nutrients that you need. I mean, I think I was listening to LBC the other day because I didn't know where I was with these injections, but actually listening to, you know, a number of people that called in that, you know, people are different physiologically, Mark, and this whole idea that all you've got to do is eat less and move more doesn't work for everybody. It just doesn't.
Can I make a really sort of loaded suggestion? I'm not necessarily agreeing with this, but it might be something that kind of a lot of people feel. If I think about healthy food, healthy choices, organic food, Dina, you and Dina are incredibly educated and informed about it because it interests you. A huge number of people aren't interested in food, and I don't mean that I don't think that's right. And for example, I take more interest because of you and Dina, and that's why watching a show like yours is really, really useful, I think, for everyone, because you provide a very accessible and unintimidating route into healthier choices, which is one thing. But I think for if I wasn't with it, for the vast majority of people, it's not
In this country.
it's not an important thing to look at. So what I mean by temptation is put in the way and quick choices are put in the way. Okay, that you might be able to make it work, but actually it requires a lot of thinking and planning and let's replace that with that or this with this. And actually, vast majority of people haven't got the time to think like that. Or the inclination.
I know, it's the inclination. It's the inclination. Because the thing is, in this country, why are we always hearing about the Mediterranean diet? You talk about cancer, they say Mediterranean diet. You talk about Alzheimer's, you talk about the Mediterranean. Why does the Mediterranean diet come up all the time? There is so little processed food in the Mediterranean diet. And people eat simply. The Mediterranean diet is very, very simple food, easy to cook. If you're asking about 5 or 10 minutes thought about what you might eat that day, well, yeah. But I mean, if you're also talking about 5 or 10 minutes thought about what you eat that day, is going to mean that your family has less disease, has more energy, looks better, feels better, then that is what we've really got to try and help people believe that they can do.
But I think
because
that has
I think
to be
too often
realistic.
in this country people go, I just can't, because people aren't brought up around good food and brought up cooking.
I agree. But
and I think that is why we're grabbing all the time. Delivery takeaways has been dire for our family. How often do we just go, okay, let's just order a takeaway?
Well, that's my point. And we're a family that has people like you in it, that's inclined towards kind of trying to eat more healthy. Sandy says not everyone is a good cook either and don't know how to put healthy food together.
That's why people need to be helped with that. That's why people need to be helped with that right from school. I go back to Jamie Oliver. I mean, honestly, why is nobody taught how to cook? It's ridiculous because we've got to.
It is strange when you think about that. Why is no one taught?
Because we're not Italy,
weird,
France, Spain, Germans are good cooks, where people just learn in the house how to cook. We don't do that here. So we've got to teach people at school.
No, I agree. I agree with it.
There's millions of pounds that are going to be spent on these injections. And actually, I've changed my mind on them. I think there is a place for them. But why can't governments think way ahead and go, we will cut down on disease, diabetes, all these things that are bringing the National Health Service to its knees by teaching people how to make a meal?
That's what this article is about shifting the emphasis or attitude or understanding of obesity from lifestyle choice or willpower through to disease. I mean, Christos, you make a really important point there. Sadly, a lot of people are suffering from obesity weight problems due to deeper serious factors like trauma, depression, and, as they say in this piece, genetics. In 2021, obesity-related health issues cost the NHS in 2021 166 billion. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. That is a lot. Isn't that 5 times the national debt?
Maybe Dina and I one day on Curly Cooks, we need to do like how to this week eat this every night for your dinner, and it'll take 10 minutes to cook.
I think so, because you know what I go into?
And it'll cost you £3.
Yeah, I go into a blind panic. As soon as I hear ingredients, it's weird, maybe it's an ADHD thing. I hear the list and theoretically it should be quite straightforward. I go into.
No, but you're just not interested.
It's not. It's like food dyslexia.
It's all right not to be interested. Lots of things that I'm not interested in, but you just shut down like your mum does. You just go. It's like not happening.
Right. Okay.
Because I think if you don't grow up around food and family and sharing and eating, you just don't see the point of it. You just want spam fritters. So you just stuff your face.
Okay, well, let's get to the rub of it. Let's get to the nub of it. Let's get to the knob of it. The European Sex Championships. This sounds fantastic. Do you want to take part?
Oh, God, it sounds awful. Endurance. Oh, no, sorry, it says attendance.
Yeah. You're seeing words in
I
front
know
of
it
you.
said it's Europe.
So representatives across Europe gathered on Thursday to begin competing in a live sex house that's been labelled the European Sex Championships. I already feel the next Channel 4 series coming, literally, don't you? Britain's entry, this is a story actually about how Britain's entry isn't actually entering. So these are competitors that take part in 16 different categories over 6 weeks. There are judges watching people have sex, give blowjobs, do all sorts of weird things. Some of the contenders are porn stars and OnlyFans models.
No, but I just find it so funny that the British contestants already pulled out due to illness.
Yeah.
So we don't have a contender. No. Does that not just
what
sum
her name
us up? We do not have a contender even.
It's like the Eurovision, isn't it? Barbie Sins is our contender.
Barbie is pulled out due to ill health.
So remaining contestants include those from France, Spain, Italy and Ukraine. Of the 16 categories, 15 of them will be rewarded between 5 and 10 points each, depending on the judge's assessment. What qualifies you as a judge?
God only knows.
What qualifies you as an umpire? I wonder
So
if
they're going to be judged on their sex acts,
yeah,
proficiency in sex acts,
artistry,
seduction,
their artistry. Artistry and creativity. No, I'm saying artistry and creativity.
You go. You've got you say it.
What?
Because you've got very excited.
How many times they can orgasm?
Okay.
How do they judge that for a woman?
This is just ridiculous. I wonder if is it going to be on the telly?
No.
Where's it going to be?
It's just an event. It's just an event.
We can't watch it.
No.
I think it will be on. Somebody's going to film this.
This is not going to be on telly.
It will be on a digital channel somewhere.
Okay, well, you can go and watch it on your own.
I don't want to watch it.
I'm just trying to think what sort of so much pressure, Louise Batt. I mean, I'm wondering, is it men, how many orgasms they can have in a row? I mean, they're going to look red-eyed and raw by the end of it.
Oh, my God. Okay, now you've gone too far. I swear to God, what is the matter with you?
What? Apparently...
No, we're moving on from this topic because you've gone too far.
No, but apparently one of them I do know.
If you say, whatever you're going to say, I'll leave. Because it's not going to be appropriate, so stop.
No, it's the hop, skip and the come. Apparently they have to see how far...
You're doing the quiz now, aren't you?
I am in a minute. Just finally, just...
Oh, actually, no, I did just want to say something about Anne Diamond, actually. Oh, God. So, and you've probably seen it on the news, just that she's been... she's funny in this article. She said, everybody thinks I've been on a cruise for the last 5 months because I love cruises, but actually I've been dealing with breast cancer. She's had a double mastectomy and radiotherapy. And interestingly, she said, I have absolutely no advice for anyone with it. I only have empathy. I found it incredibly tough. So, just sending out a bit of a hug to her because, Jesus, I mean, as you know, I've got a number of friends. In fact, my friend today I'm going to celebrate with, Hannah, her birthday. She's got stage 4 breast cancer, and it is the most devilish of diseases. And just always sad news when you hear of anyone being diagnosed. And I know a number of you here, because sometimes I've bumped into you, haven't I, in the shops, and quiet subs have said, said that they love it when we bring it up and we just note that it continues on after diagnosis, after treatment. We tend to think people that haven't been touched by breast cancer that, okay, that's done, but there's so much that goes on beyond. So to all of you who are dealing with breast cancer in whatever way, whether it's somebody that you love, like me today, with somebody I love very much, that sorry. I'm such a weller-upper, aren't I? Anyway, to anyone, just like, wow, it's a lot. And, big hugs.
Big hugs. We're going to get to the quote. You're right, Boo?
Yes, I'm good.
I'm going
to go and celebrate.
No, but just on that note, I was just thinking one of the other races they have in the sex championships is the one-legged race. Or the third-legged race.
Oh, God.
Oh, and also, finally...
It's terrible. Can you... I've got to go and finish getting ready.
Yeah, no, but hang on.
If he misbehaves again, can you tell me?
Just quickly, an overweight man has revealed how men can extend the size of their penises.
Stop.
Do you know how?
I'm leaving.
Oh, do
No,
you wanna-
I'm not interested, Mark.
Boosting the
I
size of...
might not know how, but I am not interested.
Does anyone want to know? We are doing the quiz. Does anyone want to know? Apparently, by simply losing weight, I think there's a thing called... What's it called? There's a condition, Nadia, called buried penis syndrome.
Okay, I don't want to know.
And if
People
you...
are... Somebody just earlier said they were just tucking into a bacon sandwich back.
You
so
won't.
Just stop.
They'll have eaten it by now. What is wrong with you?
Don't forget, you've got to get me a gas cylinder for
Fuck that shit.
You have
I've
to.
got penises to talk about.
Mark!
What?
Stop it.
Put your knickers away, Naz. They don't. Okay. You don't know that off camera she's doing
I'm
this.
leaving.
She's flibbling around like a nutter. So by losing weight, apparently the penile extension can occur. In Vegas, police body cam catches UFO in the back of shot, and they get an urgent phone call from residents in Vegas saying we have 8-foot and 9-foot and 10-foot creatures standing in our backyard looking at us. This is serious. This is in the Mirror and the Mail. Police body cam catches UFO, and there are sightings of strange creatures in Vegas. It's probably just a stag do, I reckon, if it's anything like the one I went to. And just off the back of that eating, the obesity thing, listen to this. This is slightly troubling. This happened last week. This is a non-profit eating disorder charity, the National Eating Disorders Association, uses Tessa, which is a chatbot, AI chatbot, to give simple advice to people calling their helpline. Tessa, the chatbot, the AI chatbot designed for the National Eating Disorders Association, was discovered to have had what they call generative AI. It had generative programming, and it started to give the wrong advice around calorie intake, dieting, and what have you. So an AI chatbot went rogue at the National Eating Disorders Association. They had to close it down. They couldn't work out how it had developed a generative capacity. I'm telling you now, AI is a worry. So quiz of the week! Quiz of the week! Okay, for those of you who are listening, well, you can do this. It's not a picture quiz, is it? This is every Friday, apart from last Friday, because Philip Schofield was everywhere. We do a quiz. We ask 7 questions. You try and get 7 right. As we always say, it's the winning that counts, not the taking part. So try hard, and if you fail, go into the afternoon feeling like, well, what you are, a failure. So really have a crack at it. No, I'm joking, really. It's just see how many you can get. It's a bit of fun. It's about the news over the week. Sometimes we've touched upon it. Sometimes we've completely missed it. Yeah, it's just a nice way to end. Hashtag fuck off Friday. Naughtiness and shenanigans. I just keep thinking about those Olympic events. I mean, the sex championships, it's about get your pens and paper ready. It's about distance, and it's about how far you can make things go. It's often about how big things are, the weight of things, speed, how fast, how many. I think that's enough to play with. Okay, here we go. Question 1. Are we ready? Shall we do? No, yeah, I'll keep you there. Grime artist Stormzy spoke at the Hay Literary Festival about his Murky Books imprint, which publishes works by underrepresented writers. But which novel did Stormzy say changed his life when he read it at school? Nought and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, The Colour Purple by Alice Walker, or Vernon God Little by DBC Pierre? I'm surprised. Which of those 3 books did Stormzy say changed his life? Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, A, The Colour Purple, B, by Alice Walker, or C, Vernon God Little by DBC Pierre? Get your answers in on a postcard. And does anyone remember Swap Shop? I used to love Swap Shop. Let me just pull this up here. I'm just gonna, I just wanna, hang on. I just wanna see your comments over here. What are you all saying? A, Reese Roberts is saying Mallory Blackman. I actually went for Mallory Blackman, and I couldn't have been more wrong. B, lots of you saying B, The Colour Purple. Whoa. Get rid of that. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this so that I can see your comments and see the questions at the same time. Done. What have we got? Helen Fatherley, Colour Purple, Russ Souch, B. The answer is C, Vernon Godlittle. There you go. I didn't know that. Bloody hell. Question 2. A lonely, self-consumed, He's a lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog. Just a lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog. What a weird combination of words. That was how Donald Trump was described. Oh no, I thought he was describing someone else. That was how Donald Trump was described as at a campaign rally by a former ally seeking to succeed him as the next Republican president. But who said it? Was it the former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie? Was it Florida Governor Ron DeSanctimonious? Or was it the former Vice President Mike Pence? Which of those three described Donald Trump as a lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog? Was it Chris Christie? Or Florida Governor Ron DeSanctimonious? Or former Vice President Mike Pence? Carla Hatcham says A. And Julie Beddoes says A. You're correct, it's A. It's none of the others, mate. Oh, I don't know if you're going to get this. If sport fans, you could be falling at this hurdle, guys. Ilkay Gundogan scored twice as Manchester City beat Man United to win the FA Cup. His first, after just 12 seconds, was the quickest in FA Cup final history, taking the record from which player? So who previously held the record for the fastest goal scored in an FA Cup final? Was it A, Shane Long, Southampton, B, Louis Saha of Everton, or C, Alan Shearer of Newcastle United? Good luck, guys. See you on the other side. See you on the... Oh no, 0, says Anna Charalumbus. Grace Ann Martin, it's a great start, 0. Emma Walsh says C, Alan Shearer. Julie Beddoes says C. Creatorholic saying Louis Saha. Margaret O'Brien, lots of you saying C. We're just saying Alan Shearer because we like Alan Shearer, aren't we? We're saying Alan Shearer because we know Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer's head, you don't want to be hit by Alan Shearer's head at all, do you? Just moving that round. Oh, sorry, I thought you were coots. Yeah, got to take her off in a minute. GCSE's baking. It was Louis Saha. Question 3. Question 4. Apple promised to seamlessly blend the real and virtual worlds via a headset likened to a giant pair of ski goggles. These sound great. But what is its augmented reality gadget called? This is like VR for Apple. Is it A, Quadra Pro, B, Quest Pro, or C, Vision Pro? This is a major bit of headgear for Apple. Apple caught a little bit in the headlights with this one because, of course, apparently, one of the big drivers of tech with a visual component, sadly and frustratingly, is porn. Apple sells itself as a family-friendly, brand. So there's a lot of talk about how the porn industry is going to harness this technology, and how what's possibly going to make it sell is the ability to watch porn in a totally sort of immersive fashion. I want one, says Helen Fatherley. I'm not suggesting you want one because of that. It's C, Vision Pro. Vision Pro. Question 5. Singapore announced it would host its last horse race after more than 180 years of the sport in the island. Its final meeting will include the 100th running of its most prestigious race. What was the most prestigious race in Singapore? I haven't got a clue what this is. Is it A, the Singapore Derby, B, the Singapore Gold Cup, or C, the Singapore Grand National? A, the Singapore Derby, B, the Singapore Gold Cup, or C, the Singapore Grand National? I wonder why they're banning it. They're banning it because of, I don't know, treatment of horses? I don't know. Lots of you saying B, the Singapore Gold Cup. Yeah, you're right. A lot of sporty ones here. I don't think you're going to be doing too well today. Beryl McNally, you're right. Maria Griffin, you're right. Anne A, you're wrong. Question 6. Killing Eve actress Jodie Comer stopped partway through a performance of her Broadway one-woman show Prima Facie. But for what reason? A, an audience member was being disruptive. B, she was struggling to breathe because of wildfire smoke engulfing New York. And C, to deliver a message of support for striking writers. If you were watching Coffee Moaning yesterday with Nads, you'll know the answer to this one. Why did Jodie Comer have to pull out of her one-woman show? Disruptive audience member, couldn't breathe because of wildfire smoke, or to show her support for striking writers? Yeah, you all got it. She was struggling to breathe, and apparently Nads, she does. She struggles with asthma. That is the thing. Not nice. Final question. Who's on 6? Anyone on 6? If you're on 6, I will eat Nadia's dress tonight with sriracha sauce. Sriracha. Sriracha? Why did I call it sriracha? 4. Creative. Oh, look, that's good. 4 out of 6 today. Yay. 1 right, Brenda. Look, lots of you. 2. Steph. Oh my God, so many of you with 1. If you've got 4, that's good. April, Hill, Ellen Groves, well done. Okay, final question. Iranian-born wrestler Hussein Khosrow Ali Vaziri died, but was hailed by the Worldwide Wrestling, whatever it is, WWE, as one of the greatest villains in sports entertainment history. He died at the age of 81. What was the Iranian-born wrestler's ring name? Was he the Iron Ayatollah, the Iron Shah, or the Iron Sheikh? What was the name of the Iranian-born wrestler who died this week? Was he A, the Iron Ayatollah, B, the Iron Shah, or C, the Iron Sheikh? Yeah, Jill Dyer, you're right. When you're getting so few, you kind of almost want to go for 0, don't you? Faith, too. It's not good, is it? Which of those was it? A, B, or C? Lots of you saying the Iron Ayatollah. It's a good name, isn't it? But Anna Charalumbus, Brenda M, and Rachel Greenwood, you are correct. The answer is the Iron Sheikh. Rattle and roll. Guys, have a lovely Friday. Lots of content coming your way. Curly Cooks is live again tomorrow, don't forget. And obviously the Saturday papers will be there. Something's landing tonight. All sorts of fun and hilarity. It's a pre-recorded No Name Sunday show. Will be landing this weekend. And
No, it's not. It's
what?
live.
The No Name Sunday show is a pre-recorded No Name Sunday show. Look of nigh on panic there. Guys, have a lovely afternoon. Have a lovely day. Enjoy Friday.